Finally ready to talk about Onyx Storm. I finished this book a few days ago, like 3 days ago, and I wasn't sure where my rating was going, but I think we're a 5 out of 5. This book was great. Such a good addition to the series. Just, Rebecca, you did it again. Like, I think this is my favorite book of the series so far. Forewarning, this will not be a spoiler-free discussion, so if you haven't finished the book, goodbye. Swipe, keep going, because there's a lot to unpack here, and just leave if you don't want spoilers, because if you read it, if you keep listening and watching and you get spoilers, you can't blame me. Okay, you are warned. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, goodbye. All right, everyone who doesn't care about spoilers or has already finished, there's just so much to unpack from this book. I feel like Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, both books, like, were leading you to a direction, right? And then the cliffhangers at the end were in both books like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean Brennan is alive? What do you mean? Oh wait, Brennan is alive. What do you mean Xaden is Venom? But where we're at in this book, like, yes, it ends on a cliffhanger, but I just feel like I have so many more unanswered questions from this book, and so many theories that, like, haven't been answered. Rebecca, who hurt you? And why? Why do you have to inflict that on us? And I know I say this every time I talk about any of your books, because every single book I've ever read by Rebecca Yarros, it has made me feel some type of way, and normally it's sad. This book, I cried. I cried in this book. I didn't cry at the end. And I didn't cry in Fourth Wing or Iron Flame. This has been the only Empyrean series book that has brought tears from me, even with Liam. Liam did make me sad. Like, I loved Liam, but it wasn't cry. But, excuse you, ma'am? Taking Andarna from us like that? I was reading that chapter, and a part of me was, like, in disbelief, like, no, she's not gonna leave Violet. But then the other, like, part of me was like, oh, but, like, she needs to know her family and where she comes from. And then this side of me was like, no, but Violet. And it broke my heart. I'm like, what are you, she's leaving? Tears on my book. Never have had that happen before. So, good job, Rebecca. Kudos to you on that one. I'm so curious to learn more, because they talk about their gods, but they don't go into detail too much. Like, you have, like, the god of luck, the god of death, whatever, but they don't, like, really dive deep. And I am so interested with these, like, high priestesses with Dune, and, like, where that's gonna go. And the fact that Mira knew, like, she knew, and she never bothered to tell anyone, to tell Violet, who's probably, like, logically, like, smarter than the 3 siblings. And, like, I just feel like that I just have so many questions that are left unanswered from this book. I am convinced that Violet's mom was Venom, and her dad somehow figured out a way to counterbalance, like, that need to get power from the ground. Because, like, it's just, like, it just feels all too convenient, especially when they were going to give her to Dune, and then the whole ceremony didn't happen all the way. Like, I have so many questions that have not been answered, and, like, the more I read, I was like, oh, I want to know more about this, and then nothing. And so, like, was Violet's mom Venom, and that's why she has, like, the silver in her hair, and those were the people who learned how to, like, control it without having to take more, and that's why Theophany, like, left, because she, like, said in the book to Violet, oh, well, why be a like a god or whatever, a priestess to a god when I can be a god myself and have all the power or whatever. So like it just like got me thinking. And then my friend Megan brought up a really good point that I didn't even think about throughout this book. Like we all shit on Dane, okay? And he deserves it. Dane sucks. And I don't care that he helped her like a shit ton in this book. Like he's still on my biggest shit list. There's no redemption story for him. Sorry if anybody feels differently, but I have not met a person who says otherwise. But yeah, no, fuck Dane. But like we all bag on Dane, but then my friend Megan brought up this point of, what about Imogen? Like, she did not like Violet. Like, did not like Violet, put up with her for Xaden. And then in this book, it seems like she likes her more, but still not really putting up with her. But then, we best friends now? Like, I understand, like, the more you're around somebody, the more they grow on you. But that's not always true. And the end of the book, like, we find out that Violet had asked to have her memory wiped from being married to Xaden, and the plan that they came up with that we don't know about, which driving me nuts. I need to know these details. But my bigger question is, thank you, Megan, for this bigger question, because I hadn't even thought about this, that she brought up is, how many times has Imogen wiped Violet's memory without her knowing? So how much does Violet actually know that she all of a sudden doesn't know for the convenience of saving, for the convenience of Xaden not wanting her to know, thinking that it's going to cause a problem, or what Imogen is doing for what she feels is the betterment for Xaden, to keep Xaden safe, because we know, like, they're best friends. Like, she's gonna pick Xaden over Violet every time. Like, Violet's never gonna be a number one for Imogen. And, like, I feel that that was such a good thing to bring up, because, like, never crossed my mind. But then, like, if you go back and look, like, there are so many times where they were, like, supportive to one another. Like, you could think, like, oh, character development for Imogen, they're becoming friends. Yeah, no. I don't think so. Because the only person Imogen was really close with, other than Xaden, was Quinn. And when Quinn died, like, that was such a big, emotional, heavy thing for her, to where she finally opened up to Garrick, and, like, being like, oh, like, I'll go with you, she's dead, you're feeling what I'm feeling, I'm gonna allow myself to be vulnerable with you, because you're being vulnerable with me. Like, she's had this tough shell, tough exterior. There ain't no way. She's just gonna be like, alright, we can be friends, Violet. So, Megan, I think you have a big point on here, because she could be the new Dane. Like, we could hate her as much as we hate Dane. Because they both have those powers where, well, Dane, you would know. Except for Violet didn't, because she was stupid. But Imogen, you literally wouldn't know if she was wiping your memories or not. Like, it would be so easy to, like, gaslight her into thinking, like she didn't wipe her memories. And, like, they all could be doing it. So, I mean, in hindsight, who is actually on Violet's side? Like, who is actually there, like, other than, like, Rhiannon and Riddick and, like, them? But, like, Garrick and Bodhi and Imogen, they were all, in Quinn when she was alive, they were all, priority was Xaden. And they're going to do anything to keep him safe. So, where does that, like, leave us? So, I just thought that was really interesting, too. But I also have a lot of theories and questions about the end of this book when it comes to, like, them being married, and, like, the emerald that is in her ring that was missing from the sword, like, and they got married in the temple. Like, what could they have, like, imbued this stone with? Like, could it be like a Jurian's ring situation from ACOTAR, like, keeping him alive? What does it mean? What does it do? Like, it's not just, we know, it's not just a ring. Like, there is some fail-safe in that ring. This book, I feel like this one, honestly, I think this book is going to get a 5-star for me. Just because the amount it made me think. And it made me think back on each of these other books. And, like, the characters and how they've developed and, like, everything. Like, I just feel like normally series don't get better each book for me. And, I mean, Iron Flame, I did like Fourth Wing better than Iron Flame. Still, even after my reread. But Onyx Storm, I think, is a 5 for me. Like, this is one I could see myself sitting down and rereading again this year. Just to go back and, like, kind of deep dive more into everything that's going on and try to catch things that I missed this first time reading through. Because, like, this was a freaking good book. Wow. That's all I have to say is wow. Also, I just realized this. Rebecca! I forgot about this part, and then I just remembered as I was, like, looking at the name, Onyx Storm, as I was talking about this. Really? You're naming this book after, like, Xaden, after the event that turns Xaden fully venom? Like, how cruel is that? Genius, but cruel. Ugh. But, alright. That was my very long, spoiler-included review of Onyx Storm. 5 out of 5. Go read it. Read the other two, too. But, obviously, if you're watching this review, you probably have read these already. But, if you haven't finished it, sorry for all the spoilers, but I warned you. Read it.